Hi everyone, and welcome to the Blackboard classroom for IDST 305. I put this video together, it's a brief one, and it's really just to go over the basics of the Blackboard class. If you have any questions after this video, please do feel free to contact me. But what I want to do briefly is just to go over the main features, as well as to go over the upcoming assignments for this week. So here is the Blackboard site, and every time you enter, you will land on this main page, the announcements page. And that picture is of Machu Picchu, which I happen to have taken about 20 years ago. I think it looks pretty good, actually. In any case, and that takes me to the topic area that we'll be focusing on for this class, and that's Latin American literature and culture. I should say that this is definitely not a literature class. Instead, we're using literature as a way to talk about broader cultural trends and language in Latin America. And I think the literature of the region is a particularly good way to explore those elements of the culture, particularly because Latin America has been home to some of the greatest authors the world has ever seen. We will be reading stories and poetry by a number of Nobel Prize winners, for example. And I think you will find a lot of this work both interesting and challenging at the same time. So when you come into this classroom, you will, as I said, you will always land on the announcements page. And the most important thing for you to know is that every week, every Tuesday, I will put up a list of assignments for you to complete. There is a course syllabus, and the course syllabus does spell out assignments later on in the semester and so forth. But please keep this in mind. For every week, if I put something on this checklist, that's what you need to do, and that's all you need to do. If it's not on the checklist, you don't have to do it. So, again, although there is a syllabus to help you plan for the semester, on a weekly basis, these checklists are all you will need. Right now I have a welcome announcement at the top, but normally when you come in every Tuesday, you will see this list of assignments at the top, okay? And in fact, I'll use this list of assignments for this first week to help as my way into discussing the way the Blackboard course will work. The first assignment for this week is the assignment you're completing right now, which is to watch this video. This is a brief tutorial. The next thing I'm asking you to do is I say, read the following stories, all of which are posted in the Week 1 Materials folder in the Course Documents area. Now, I have asked you to buy a couple of texts. This, the Oxford Book of Latin American Short Stories, and for later in the semester, Mario Vargas Llosa's The Feast of the Goat. You won't need this one right away. However, I will also assign you additional readings, and when I do, I will provide those to you either as web links or as PDF documents. And that's true for this week. So for this week, I've asked you to read 3 things, and they've all been posted to the course documents area. If you click on that, you will see Week 1 materials, and then you will see the 3 works that I have put up here as PDFs for you. It's actually all one document. I just scanned it all at once, but it does contain the 3 things that I've asked you to read. In addition, although it is not required reading, I have also posted this piece. It's actually from a number of years ago in the Washington Post, but it talks about the labels or terms Latino or Latina versus Hispanic, and how for many people they are not interchangeable. So I'd like you to read this just to get a sense of what those words mean and how they relate to identity overall. I do think that it's relevant for our consideration, obviously, of Latin American literature and culture, but I also, particularly in times that we're talking about immigration and things like that, I think this is an interesting read, although it is not required. So for your first week, the 3 things you have to read are all in this PDF document. Just to go back to the other things in course documents, I also have posted for you a complete syllabus, okay? And like I said, you won't need this for your weekly assignments, but it is going to be useful to you just for planning. And so this includes all of the course policies, the grading guidelines, and so forth. I also want to make one thing very, very clear. This is an online class, but we are going to have 3 face-to-face meetings. I have included those on the front page of your syllabus. I should note that one of the dates I sent you all in an email was one day off. The dates that are listed in this syllabus are correct. The 3 in-person dates are September 19th, October 24th, not 23rd, and then November 28th. They will be from 7 to 9 p.m. In business 254, okay? So this is where, in the course documents area, is where you can find your syllabus, and as the weeks go on, where I will post some additional readings if I have any. I will also start posting guidelines for essays. I haven't posted anything yet, and for your in-class discussions. Now I'll get to the in-class discussions in a second. Let me go back to the announcements and to that checklist. The next thing I've asked you to do, in addition to reading, is to complete a discussion board item. And the discussion board, the class discussion board, is where the majority of your online work will take place. For this week, it's very easy, okay? It's really just a way for you all to get to know each other and for me to get to know you a little bit better. And so if you go in here, and actually I'm going to change the way this looks. Here we go. Is the very top one is going to say introductions. And just please read the instructions. It's really just, again, a way for you all to get to know each other. In order to post something, you click on introductions, and when you're ready to answer, you hit create thread, you have the subject of it, and then your answer will be down here. When you are done, be sure not to hit save draft unless you want to save it for later. In order for me to see it and for everybody else to see it, you need to hit submit, okay? And when you do, you will see that right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete it now. One thing I do want to make clear about the discussion board is it is worth a significant portion of your overall grade. I don't know why that's not staying. And here's how the grading for the discussion board works. If you do it on time and you follow the instructions, for this first one, it's very straightforward and very easy. But for some, I ask for you to write a minimum number of words, or I ask you to quote the text. If you do all of the things that you're supposed to, if you post it on time and you follow the requirements, you will get all of the points. However, if you do not follow all of the requirements, particularly if you don't get it in on time, you won't get any of the points. And for this class, if there is something due, a discussion board item due on a particular day, let's say September 1st, you have until 11:59 p.m. on September 1st to post that. If it's 12:01 and it becomes September 2nd, it's late and you cannot receive credit for it. Although that seems like a harsh policy, I try to limit the number of assignments that I give you, and you have all week to post them. So it's not intended to punish you, it's simply to make sure that if we're going to have a discussion, we're able to, and we can only do that if everybody's getting their stuff in by a certain deadline, okay? So that's the discussion board, and that's one of your assignments here. So far, for this week's assignments, it's watch this video, which you're doing. It's do the 3 pieces of reading, which are posted to the course documents area in the week 1 materials folder. It's to do your discussion board item that I just showed you. And then the last one is to go follow this link and go to a Google Doc. And that Google Doc will take you to a sign-up sheet. Each of you is going to be required to lead one in-class discussion during the semester, and there are only going to be 2 dates when you can do it, either September 19th or October 24th. Those are 2 dates where we're meeting in person. I have already posted the stories that you have the option of presenting on and leading a discussion on. And when you're ready, simply type your name into whichever area, whichever date and story you want to lead the discussion for, and that will be that will be it. You only have to do one. Obviously, if somebody has taken one of the stories, you need to pick something else. Please do not erase other people's names. I think that probably goes without saying, but just in case. So we're not doing any of that yet, but just so you understand what that involves, if you go back to, to course documents, I've actually posted the guidelines for what is required in those in-class discussions that you'll be leading. Please read those carefully. Essentially what it is that each of you will have to lead a 10-minute discussion for the rest of the class on one of the stories from that document that I just showed you that you'll sign up for. You will lead that discussion. But you will also have a small written assignment that goes along with it. It's about 1 single-spaced or 2 double-spaced pages. Please read these guidelines very carefully for what it is I'm looking for in that short written portion. And then when we're in class, I'm going to leave it to you to lead a discussion for 10 or so minutes based upon the work that you've chosen to lead the discussion on. Again, be sure to read these guidelines carefully, and if you have any questions about them, be sure to let me know, and I'd be happy to answer your questions, or if you need some clarification, I'll provide that too. So this is the list of assignments that you have for the week. It's not very difficult, and like I said, every Tuesday I'm going to post a new set of assignments. When you come in, you will see that set of assignments posted to the announcements page. Now, I've already shown you the course documents area. That's where you'll find the syllabus, the guidelines for the in-class discussion, and maybe if I assign any additional readings outside of what are in the textbooks. I have also put here faculty information. That's my contact information. Please note that the best way to contact me is definitely via email. If you leave me a voicemail, I do check it, but I don't check it as often as I should. Email I check multiple times a day. Moreover, if you send me an email, you should get a response from me within 24 hours. If you do not, assume that something went wrong, that I didn't get it, and that you need to resend it. But I do try to get back to everybody within 24 hours, sometimes much faster. Okay? So the other areas of the course that you should be aware of, you've seen the discussion board. I haven't broken you into groups yet, so I wouldn't worry about that now. The last one is the grade center. I'm not going to click on that because it will show something that you won't see. But when you click on that, I do keep course grades throughout the semester there. It might take me a week or two to catch up with all the assignments, but I do try to stay fairly current. I do that both so you know how you're doing in the class, but also if you see that I've made a mistake, maybe I accidentally put in the wrong grade, you can catch me on it and we can make sure that everything is straight when we get to the end of the semester. It's a good way for you to know how you're doing, and it's also a good sort of safety check just to make sure there are no mistakes along the way. For now, this is all I'm going to have you do is this upcoming week. Next Tuesday you will get a new week of assignments. And then on September 19th, we will have our first meeting at 7 o'clock. You have as you saw, you have the option of leading a course discussion then, though I believe I've left enough slots so that just about everybody can lead a discussion on our second meeting date if that's what you prefer. I just wanted to give options for people who like to plan ahead. That's all I have for you for now. I'm really looking forward to this class. These are some of the most interesting things I can imagine reading. I enjoy them very much, and I hope you will too, and I hope that it helps us explore sort of Latin American culture and language in interesting and meaningful ways. Again, if you have any questions about this or anything else, please don't hesitate to contact me.